again? Okay, actually, pretty good. Okay. That's better. Let's see how long that'll hold. Let's see how long that'll hold. Oh, much better. Oh, all right. I'm leaving the parking lot after seeing Sinners, the movie that everyone has to see. Let's see here. Can I like it myself? No, I can't. Oh, that sucks. All right, well, that's fine. All right, we are rolling. Let's see. Oh, the intro. Here we go. Let's see. Well, let me tell you something, dudes. No, that ain't it. Wrestling has more than one. No. That ain't it. That damn sure ain't it. Let's see. Say my name and that. No, that's certainly not it. Having everybody saying it. L.A. No. Who in the hell is that? Some mid-carder? No. Oh, wait a minute. I think I remember how this is supposed to go. Yeah. I think I feel it. I think I remember it. Party people in the place to be. What's going on? It's me. I just left a screening of Sinners after the day job, and it's a movie. Everyone, there's been a lot of talk about it online. I've gotten into some online arguments about it. What are you arguing about? Well, people were bloating up the number as a selling point, and I was telling the argument I was getting in with people online is stop using the box office number as a selling point because it hadn't reached the box office yet. This was at the start of the weekend. And it hadn't reached the box office yet. Last I heard, it crossed like 160. So it crossed the box office. That was last I heard. So I'm pretty sure, cause it's 2.5. So I'm pretty sure like close estimates, it has to be like 185 or something like that. In order for Sinners to cross, what's going on, people? And I think it probably has over the weekend. I didn't check the numbers today, but yeah. So I watched it, and we're gonna do non-spoiler section first. That's why the title says eventual spoilers. We're gonna get into spoilers eventually for people who haven't seen it yet. I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen it. That's actually kind of a spoiler on my review of it, because if it sucked, I would be like, yeah, I'm spoiling it because fuck this movie. But it didn't suck. There were things I didn't like. Obviously, there's very few movies that I think are perfect or near perfect, or that most people even think are perfect or near perfect. This wasn't one of them. Let me start with the non-spoilers. Now, it's not much of a spoiler. Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan plays two characters in this. That's not much of a spoiler. I saw pictures of him playing it, and there are memes going on over the internet. Michael A. Jordan, Michael B. Jordan. Ha ha ha. Early on in the movie, very early on, they established that these are two different characters, and when they established that they're two different characters, the problem is the CGI. And I saw in the credits that it was Industrial Light and Magic. It was Lucasfilm that did the effects. Later on, the effects are great, but there's an effect in the movie early on to establish that Michael B. Jordan is playing two different characters that just does not look good. It just looks clunky. It looks like a cheap TV effect. It actually looks like a stand-in effect, and they didn't get back to it. So because this wouldn't be a Surreal 469 video if I couldn't just get in and talk shit. Hi, everybody that's saying hi. This wouldn't be a Surreal 469 video if I just couldn't come in and talk shit about it. And that stuck out to me immediately. I was like, why did they even do that? Because they didn't need to do that, because they established the characters better just by having them do different things and talk to different characters, dress differently, they wear different hats. They didn't need that effect. They didn't need that to try to build the world. And if they were going to do that, they should have done that cleaner. And it just wasn't clean. It just was not clean. Let's see. There were a couple of instances that I want to talk about something good then, because the majority of the rest of the notes that I have that are negative, actually really offhand, is really only one other negative, and that's with the feel of the people in the movie and the time setting. But that's only a part of it that I feel. Basically, there are two people in particular who sing in this movie who, as they're singing, I don't necessarily, their voice kind of sounds a little bit modern, a little bit more modern than, their voice sounds a little bit more modern than the time period. The time period is the 30s. But that's the biggest sticking point I have in terms of that aspect, because, and now we're going to get into the positives. The biggest thing that stuck out for me immediately in this is that it felt like the South in the 30s. It felt like it. And this is sort of a diatribe against modern Hollywood and their period pieces. And I've said this to people before offline. And this, one of the reasons why I hate biopics by and large, and why I wasn't a huge fan of Queen of the Ring, because I didn't think that Queen of the Ring really stuck the landing in terms of feeling like the time period that it was supposed to be set in. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like Queen of the Ring. There are a couple other reasons why I didn't like Queen of the Ring, but that's one of the main reasons why I didn't like Queen of the Ring, is because it didn't feel like the time periods it was supposed to be in, and the sense of time passing wasn't well established. There are a couple other reasons why Queen of the Ring was such a disappointment. Oh, it was such a disappointment. But Sinners nails it. These people feel like they're from the South. These people don't. I think the best example I could give was American Hustle. Was like the first time I really noticed it happening in modern cinema and TV, where these period pieces where they go back in time to a certain date, to a certain time period. The people in American Hustle, supposed to be the 70s, this is Jennifer Lawrence and Bradley Cooper, they all felt like they were in their parents' clothes. They all felt like they were cosplaying. It felt like I was watching a junior high performance of something from the 70s. It felt like I was watching like a junior high performance of Boogie Nights or something, Boogie Nights Jr. You know what I mean? It didn't feel real. It didn't feel actually lived in. Sinners feels real. Sinners, the environment, the landscape, the time period, more than just the clothes, the way people look, casting, the casting director, man, she nailed this. I think her name was Rachel. I had the name and I forgot it. Oh, let me look it up. Come on, stupid iPhone. Francine Maisler. I had to point out Francine Maisler, because Francine Maisler did an amazing job. If there's an Academy Award for casting director, she should get it. If for no other reason than because no other movie or TV show is doing that now. No other movie or TV show with any kind of time period attached to it has the characters feel like they're from that time period. That 90s show, that felt like Generation Z kids. That felt like Zillennial kids pretending to be from the 90s, versus that 70s show, which had kids that felt like they were from the 70s, right? Like that's something that was sorely missing, and I think that started to be missing around the time of American Hustle. And biopics, by and large, a lot of people don't feel like they're from that time period. 42 had that problem. Get On Up had that problem, except for Jill Scott. Jill Scott feels timeless. But 42, Get On Up, Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody definitely had that problem. Even Michael Myers, even Mike Myers felt out of place in Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, it all felt forced and bad and contrived. This felt like a real environment. I don't know what you're arguing at. This felt like a real environment. This felt like real people in a real southern town, really in the 30s. Like, they didn't, the way they dressed stuff, it was just perfect the way they did it. Nobody felt, I didn't feel like what my former acting drama teacher in high school, Miss Dabney, used to say, I caught you acting. I didn't catch anybody acting. They all felt like they were from that time period, particularly the love interest. Even, what was her name? I think it's Haley Steinfeld. She didn't feel out of place there, and she definitely could have felt, when you're dealing with like young, because these kids, I feel old. These kids, people are aging less and less fast. Like, what's her name? Little Mermaid. The new black Little Mermaid. Haley Bailey. She looks like a child. She looks like a child. And part of it is because her eyes are so far apart. She looks like a child. She has a child, but she looks like a child. Zendaya's in her, mid-20s? Almost 30? She's about to get married. She still looks 10. She doesn't look like a teenager. She doesn't look like, well, I guess she does. She looks 14. She doesn't look like an adult. She doesn't look like an adult. That's why, like, if the idea of seeing that tennis movie was to me, because she didn't look like an adult. She doesn't look like an adult. So that can be a problem when doing period pieces like this, but they nailed it. These actors feel like they belong there. And of course, you have actors like Delroy Lindo, who brings gravitas to everything he's in, even terrible shit. What he was in? He was in Romeo Must Die, right? Wasn't he the dad in Romeo Must Die? Wasn't he Aaliyah's dad in Romeo Must Die? That movie was not great, but Delroy Lindo was great in that movie. And Chicago Code used to be on Netflix. If you can find it, I don't know if it still is. If you can find Chicago Code, find it. Delroy Lindo's great in that, but Delroy Lindo's great in everything. He's a great actor. And what's going on, Gina? And they all felt real. And one of the things I was saying is, I wanted to see Michael B. Jordan in something slightly different. I haven't seen a whole bunch of Michael B. Jordan stuff. I saw Fruitvale Station. That was however long ago. I saw the Creed movies, obviously. I just saw 3 a couple months ago. 3 sucked. And what else was he in? Oh, Killmonger. I liked him as Killmonger, but I wanted to see him a little bit different in this, and we got it. He got 2 different roles, and it's funny because he gets to play 2 different roles in a period piece at the same time ish that Robert De Niro played 2 separate roles in a period piece, and everybody hated Robert De Niro's portrayal of 2 different roles. But Michael B. Jordan makes it work. The intro where they're doing the funky CGI, that doesn't work. But every other scene with the brothers, and then there's another scene where they hug, and it's clear, like it's clearly bodied up. Like I almost feel like it almost feels like those were cheesy on purpose, because because it feels like it may be cheesy on purpose. We're gonna start to get into spoilers here in a few minutes, so if you're watching this not live and you haven't seen it yet, you're being warned. I'm about to go into spoilers pretty soon, because there's not much more I can talk about and rave about with this movie without revealing some stuff. The acting, like I said, was good from everybody. I didn't catch most of the people's names. the star of it actually isn't Michael B. Jordan. The star of it is the kid that plays Michael B. Jordan's cousin in this flick, or at least he's the centerpiece. He's the sort of supposed semi-main character, but he's not really even like it's a. I don't even know who the main character would be. Like Michael B. Jordan takes up a lot of screen time, but I don't even know that he's necessarily the main character. Like he goes on, like everybody seems to go on a bit of a journey. As well as the big guy from Ballers, who's been in a bunch of other stuff. When he was in Remember the Titans, wasn't he? I think he was. I think he was in Remember the Titans. And I don't know his name. Omar or something, I think. But he was good in it too. So we're about to get into spoilers pretty soon. And the way this works is you are being warned that I'm about to go into spoilers. So by the time I finish this sip, I'm going to dip into spoiler territory. So all right, it's a vampire flick, y'all. It's a vampire flick. There was a portion in the movie. I saw it right this afternoon. It was probably less than 10 people in the theater. It might have been 10 people in the theater with me, just because it was, like 3 o'clock on a Monday afternoon. But there was one person got up and left during the really gory parts where the vampire movies after vampire people have to bleed, and one person on the other side over here, she was screaming and hollering like, no, not smoke, no. I didn't get that tied to the characters, because by the time it got to that point, it felt like a sort of cheesy vampire movie, a well-made cheesy vampire movie. Like it felt like a cheesy vampire movie with a budget and a director who actually knows how to make good movies. What up, Simply Deep? It felt like a good vampire movie, and part of that, and I can see how they could get attached, how that woman got attached to the characters, because of how Coogler laid out the characters and the world. He built the world. I was talking about how it felt lived in, how it didn't feel like young people cosplaying as people from the South. Everybody felt like they belonged in that town. And we saw the core group of people come together. We saw the camaraderie between them. We got to dance with, so Ryan B. Jordan, I keep doing that. Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, the Michael Jordans have decided, the brothers have decided they're going to make a juke joint down there in the South. And it's opening night of the juke joint, and that's where the vampires come in. That's basically what it is. And it's well made. And so we get to sit with the people in the juke joint as they're playing music. Their cousin is the son of a preacher. I think that's why they call him Preacher Boy, is his name. And he has a guitar. He knows how to play the blues. He can play. I'm pretty good, Simply Deep. He knows how to play very well. Delroy Lindo is another blues player, and he a more veteran blues player. And two of them are going to be essentially the headliners for the juke joint. We've got another character that's going to come in. She's going to do some singing. We've got a couple other musicians that we see play later on in the night. But we get to sit and dance and party with these people. We get to. I was curious about the music, how they were going to do the music, because that's another thing that period pieces often get wrong. Is that period pieces often insert modern music that semi sounds like it's from the time period, or they don't do the music well. Sinners does the music well. There is a portion where we do get modern music, but it's a sort of explanation of the roots of modern music and how blues is integral to the roots of modern music and where the roots of blues even comes from. And it all kind of melds together pretty well. Blues, African, even Asian portion in there, hip hop, electric, like almost P-funk kind of guitar P-Funk's. I guess they were kind of trying to do symbolic of P-Funk and like Jimi Hendrix, but it's mostly like P-Funk, mostly like 70s P-Funk was the avatar for that, and you get that kind of mix together of the music, and it was done very well. I can't fault them for the way they did the music, and not only I can't fault them, they did it very well. So that's how you as an audience member gets attached to these characters, because you get to spend time with them. You know what I mean? You get to spend time with them, and you get to spend a substantial amount of time with them. You get to see their interactions with each other. You get to see, you get to hear and see some backstory with them. Even with the hint of the vampires early on in the movie, you don't, and there's another thing that I like that they did, is that they don't immediately show you everything. They don't blow their load that early. They tease. They tease you. They, build it up a little bit. You know something happened with the vampires early on. And you know what happened with them. You don't see it happen, right? You see, the jump scares aren't gratuitous. They, I don't even know that there's one like jump scare early on with the snake, but it's not, even that seems natural because you're in the woods in the South. Like, shit is it's a toned down version of Australia. Basically anything out there can fucking kill you at any moment. You can catch the wrong mosquito and not make it home that night. So all that fits and all that works. None of it doesn't work. I would say for me, I caught on to it very quickly, because what it does remind me of is the MGM Studios show From, that's made in Canada. It's on season like 4 now. Someone hit me to it. I'm caught up with it. It's kind of From. It's kind of a Southern 1930s From. The intricacies of the way it works isn't exactly the same. Like, it's not tied to the town or anything like that. It's just a vampire flick, but it's From. It's based, the build up. It didn't shock me like it shocked everybody else, because I saw From. Like, I've seen all 4 seasons of From. Like, I'm not super shocked by it because I went through it. I binge watched From, so I know what it is. The monsters, they're trying to be nice, let me in. It's basic vampire lore. They're basic vampires. They got to be let in, wood stakes, silver, etc. They're charming, semi-seductive. It's not, you know what I mean? It's basic. If you know basic vampires, you know the lore. You know the lore. But you hear the history of the people. Michael B. Jordan, one of his characters, had a history with a voodoo, not priestess, root conjurer, somebody in the woods who, gives potions to people for, in the village that they pay for, to help them with whatever, put the root on you, you know what I mean? But they lost a baby, and the Jordans have come back from Chicago with a bunch of money, and they're going to open this juke joint. Really, they're going to open this juke joint because they were trying to run from the mob that they swiped off in Chicago. That doesn't really come into play. There's no mob from Chicago. There's the Klan. The guy who sells them the land that they're on, he turns out he comes back with the Klan at the end of the movie. That almost feels tacked on. Like, it almost feels like unnecessary. Sort of. It feels a little fan servicey. You know what I mean? Like, and that got cheered, cause fuck the Klan. Like, okay, sure, but we just went through this whole thing with the vampires. We didn't need the fuck the Klan. Fuck the Klan. We went through this whole thing with vampires. We didn't need the Klan. And we did this whole thing at the end. There's an epilogue. There's a mid-credit scene. There's a post-credit scene. Fuck the Klan. We didn't need that extra 5 minutes. Like, sure, that's fan service. And, that's the scene in the, have you seen the trailer of Michael B. Jordan with the Tommy gun? That's at the very, very end. That's unnecessary. We didn't fucking need that. Like, sure. And it's definitely fan service because, the girls get to see Michael B. Jordan in a wife beater and his muscles glistening in the sons and whatnot. But we did everything. That comes after they fucking kill the vampires. We didn't need any of that. We didn't need any of that. I don't necessarily need to go into the whole story. It's a vampire movie. It's a vampire flick. They need to be let in. Somebody lets them in. There's a big vampire fight. People don't let them in earlier on. Somebody goes outside. Somebody gets got. It's basic vampire. It's basic vampire shit. It's a basic vampire movie. Basic in the terms that the rules are the rules and they don't change the rules. Basic in the terms that, they're not reinventing the wheel. But what they do with the wheel is well made. What they do with the wheel is well done. Like I said, the style is great. The cinematography is good. That party feels like what you would hear about, what you would see in other documentaries or in other movies. If you're of a certain age and your grandparents were a certain age and or uncles or something like that, there's stories like you would hear about. I'm lucky enough to have heard a couple of those stories. It feels like one of those Southern down home blues ass parties, right? Because, and by the way, I gotta reiterate this. Never. Hand the rock means never. Let your parents or grandparents try to trick you into thinking that they are some holy, sanctified, never sinned people. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything you've done with somebody's daughter or son, they've done with somebody's daughter or son. There ain't nothing new under the sun. Don't ever let them. Are you with worse alcohol too? When you think there was any regulations in the 20s during Prohibition? You think there was any regulations with the gin shit that they were making in bathtubs somewhere? That shit would blind you. And they would drink that shit and go off carousing and shit. Don't ever let anybody. Back in your day, they were doing the exact same things. The exact. The diseases might have been different, but y'all were doing the same shit. And we saw that in this party. So the party was good. The acting was good. There wasn't a weak part in terms of the acting. Like I said, the only thing was the blues singer kid. At the beginning, he sang a little bit modern-ish. Like his voice felt like it was from more of the millennial class. But interestingly enough, the post-credit scene, he sounded a lot more like he was from that era, which is weird. I don't know why that didn't translate as early in the movie. It was good. Like, it wasn't bad. It just, I could kind of hear a little 2000s accent in his voice, as well as his love interest in the movie. With the way she sang a couple parts, I could hear some 2000s accent in her voice a little bit. But it didn't knock the experience. I just heard him like, oh, he kind of broke it. It's kind of like how somebody does a British accent, but they can't get it all the way, or they don't know all the intricacies of it. They don't drop their H's properly or anything like that. So, it's slight, but I heard it. I can't knock this movie. The movie's good. And even the arguments I got in, this justifies the arguments I was talking about. It justifies the arguments I was talking about. People were like, well, what do you say? The box office? You're talking about the box office numbers, or the title is fake. No, it was a stupid thing to talk about the box office before it made the box office. I was right. Talk about the movie. Talk about the acting, which was great. Michael B. Jordan, the root girl love interest that he had, the bigger girl, she was great. She was great. If I would say if there was a standout performance in this, it was probably, especially of a relative unknown, it was probably her. I think she kind of really did her thing. I think she was probably the standout of the relative unknowns in this movie. Talk about that. Talk about the music. Talk about the effects. The effects were fine. Nothing stood out, especially in the vampire fight scenes that were egregious or anything like that. The blood wasn't the blood wasn't gory just for gory's sake. Like they were good effects. They were good effects when somebody got shot. They were good effects when you saw the blood. At least they were quick enough so that it wasn't hard to spot them. Now, mind you, I saw it in like standard definition. I didn't go see it in IMAX or XD or anything like that. But the only issue I had with the effects was early on when Michael B. Jordan was passing a weed cigarette to other Michael B. Jordan, and that shit looked cheap as fuck. They couldn't green screen somebody else's hand in there. They couldn't get a hand double in there. That shit looked terrible. And they did it a few times, which just made it look worse every time I saw it. I'm like, why do it again? You got it wrong the first time. Why do it again? But other than that, I can't knock the performances in the movie. People were doing good. Am I saying anybody? Michael B. Jordan out of the park? I liked him in it. Doing the different characters. They were slightly different. They were different enough so that you knew who they were. And it's a good performance of Michael B. Jordan. Good performance by Delroy Lindo. Is there such a thing as a bad performance? Probably Delroy Lindo. I like the movie overall. I really like the movie. I can't knock it. Out of $15, what's your content about so I know what to ask you or bring up in the future? I'll answer that. I'll answer that now. So fuck it. This question I'll answer now. So generally speaking, on this channel, I haven't done a lot on this channel in a while, particularly because my main focus in terms of content creation is actually a podcast that just dropped again today. Drops every Monday, called The Potacito. It's a podcast about the 2000s NBC show Las Vegas. That takes up a lot of my time. But we're The Potacito on everything. On YouTube, I just redid the YouTube channel, but find The Potacito on stuff, and you can find that. This channel I did, I tried to, I couldn't focus on anything. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I have different video links in there that you can find. I think I missed the parking spot. I got to turn back around. There's different stuff that you can find. I talk about wrestling, movie reviews, commentary, reactions. I want to kind of try to get back into reactions, but that's going to also take up some time. But yeah, that's it's a general channel. There's no necessarily strict subject matter on this one. It's a general channel. Let's see. So what kinds of conversations do you have with your chat? General conversations like this one right here would be I would probably say this one would be a conversation about the movie, about Sinners, or about modern movies in general, which is a good question, good topic to throw out there. What you generally think about modern movies, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm Cyril469 on everything, all the social media for the current podcast I'm doing is The Potacito. If you want to catch up with other topics and stuff that I generally do, there's another podcast that I did with a friend of mine that's not dead. It's just a lot less frequent than me even popping up on here, called the How Do We Even Get Here podcast, which links should be all throughout the stuff there as well. Yeah, let's see. I want your opinion on this. What's your opinion on movies that show men in embarrassing situations that'll get you clowned, and how would you handle these situations in real life? It depends on the situation. Black people love to talk about how black men end up in dresses in a lot of movies. I think there's something to that. And I think part of that, I think there is something to that. I don't know how, it's arguable how deep that conversation goes, but I think there is something to that. But part of comedy is embarrassment. Somebody's got to be somebody or something has to be the butt of a joke, particularly in order for it to be funny, right? Somebody has to take the fall, right? It's like wrestling. Somebody's got to lose. And that's where the comedy is. I laugh. People fall. Somebody fall down, go boom. That's funny. depending on the content. Everything depends on context, but that's funny depending on the context. So, you know, somebody's got to take the fall. Oh, it wasn't there when I came back anyway. That's what happened. And no more parking spaces. All right, I got to park super far up there. Let's see. Here's an example scenario. Somebody comes along. Hold on. Can I get in here? I can get in here. I can. My super to get in here. Oop. Turn too tight. I turn too tight. All right. Here's an example. Somebody comes across you and your lady at the wrong time at some secluded area. If I went too far in my example, my apologies. Again, is that person who came across you a cop? Is that person who came across you a kid? It depends on the situation. Is the person who came across you one of your parents? Is it your boss? You know what I mean? Situation, you know, every situation is different. There are sitcoms who've used that example quite a bit. It just depends on how you write it. It depends on the context. So if it's funny, it's funny. And a lot of funny stories are embarrassing. More likely a stranger. I mean, you know, oops, zip up and go home. Zip up and go home. It depends on the situation. So the movie Sinners, my rating of it out of $15. I usually rate movies out of $15. I would say Sinners is out of $15 worth. I'm trying to think, because it was well made. There's not much in it that I didn't like. And even the stuff that I didn't like, I didn't hate. It was just a couple things I noticed, couple imperfections that I noticed in it. It didn't enthrall me, but again, you know, I have a different constitution than obviously some of the people that were in the crowd with me. You know, one person who got up and left during the gorier scenes, but even then, to me, they weren't gorier. You know what I mean? They weren't like the most extreme gore that I've ever seen. I would say out of $15, Sinners is probably worth a good 12 out of $15. It's a solid flick. It's not perfect, but it's not imperfect. It's a solid flick. It does a lot of stuff well. I would say 12. You know what? I'll split the difference. Say $12.50 out of $15. Yeah, $12.50. It's a solid flick. It's not something that I'm like, oh, it's my favorite. I love it. But you know, $12.50. It's a good flick. I like it. Is it worth seeing again? Maybe. I'll probably just end up, you know, if somebody else really wants to go see it, because I was looking up movies to see this weekend. Other than that, because there was a couple people. One person definitely wanted to go see it with me. Another person, I didn't know what we were going to do together, so I was thinking maybe movies. So I was looking up movies that are out right now or would have been out last week, and there's nothing else. There is nothing else that looks even I know Minecraft is out right now, but I don't give two shits about Minecraft. And there's nothing else that looks even remotely interesting right now. So if you're desperate to go to a movie, Sinners is probably the movie to see, because there's nothing else out right now looks interesting at all. So yeah, I would say if you have to see a movie, I would probably see Sinners. Let's see. And what I mean by secluded area is somewhere in a car or the woods. Yeah. Well, if it's a stranger, if you're in a car in the woods and the stranger comes up on you, start the car and get the fuck out. And also, no, it doesn't. If somebody comes across you in the woods, first off, why are you in the woods in a car? Like, why are you in that scenario? That is, how did you get there? How did you get there? The old I ran out of gas trick. You do that in some place, you know. You don't do that in the woods. Even if she's driving, if a woman takes you out into the woods, if you stop seeing too many fucking street lights, Say, hey, baby, where are we going? Start asking questions. Think of the more realistic areas. You know, again, if it's a stranger, even still, if it's like a rest area and a stranger comes up on your shit, start the car and drive. Get the fuck out of there. You gotta start. Yeah, that's not a great scenario. But you know, you can do the embarrassed thing. If it's not a cop or anything like. Again, it all depends on the scenario. Context is key. This is one thing that a lot of people in today's society don't understand. Context is very important. Context is in play, is always in play. Context is always in play. And we have a tendency, especially in this, social media landscape of 140 characters or whatever, to just want an absolute and only an absolute, and that absolute, there's never there's never any nuance. We've done away with nuance years ago. Context counts. Or just areas not in the car. Context, all of it counts. Context counts. Are you asking this from jail? Are you asking me for a legal defense? Context counts. But yeah, I would say Sinners is about 2.5, 2.5, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, 15. In terms of movie, I enjoyed it. I think I'm sure there'll be some Easter eggs. There's a whole bunch of stuff all over the place, some different contexts and stuff that people will look into, some people nuances or really just stories people will make up. Although there is one thing, I did think that maybe watching this, it did feel like it might have been an allegory for the music industry in general. Because one of the driving stories is the kid cousin who's really good at blues. His preacher father told him that blues is going to lead him straight to the devil, etc. And in a way it does with the vampires. But and the way that the vampires come in, initially they're white vampires. There's a couple of them. They're drawn to the music. And the main vampire, who again, very similar to Smiley in terms of the role he plays in the movie. He wants the stories. He wants the kid singer soul. He wants his talent. It feels like it's very much allegory of the music industry, maybe entertainment industry, but it does feel like it's very. And then at one point they start singing. They start trying to play. The white vampires, the first three white vampires, they start trying to play some music, and it's very watered down, whited, for lack of a better phrase, whited up music, almost like Pat Boone's version of Tutti Frutti versus Little Richard's. So it does feel like there's probably some allegory with the music industry, and the vampirism of what they take from Black culture, and once they have taken it from Black culture, what that does to people in the industry, either entertainment or music specifically, to them, and how they act and how they are and what they look like to normal people, aka the main cast, who are trying to defend the juke joint against the vampires. So I think that's probably one of the big underlying things in it. The clan thing, sure, I guess. Sure, it felt a little bit like Time Haters. The abandoned Chappelle Show skit, but sure, fine. Sure. Let's see. Simply Deep. Well, thanks for your input, man. Not a problem. I tried to be tame with my example, so I won't make it. Yeah, you're not making me uncomfortable. It's hard to make me uncomfortable. But yeah, context is everything in all things, and that's part of the reason why I need to stop having arguments with people on especially Facebook. Facebook is, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing on Facebook. I should really do the Joe Rogan method of just promoting my shit and getting the fuck off. But people online have no idea about nuance in comment sections. They don't want to hear nuance. They don't want to engage in nuance. They don't want to, and then they make up stupid arguments to argue back against you, like, well, we don't believe it, we don't agree with you, so we must be right. No, you can all be wrong. You can all be wrong. You can all be wrong. But yeah. So you're not nuance and context are everything. I can have a briefcase full of $100 bills right in front of me. How did it get there? Where did it come from? Why do I have it? Are they real? Am I awake? Context is everything. There are details in all this shit. Context is everything. You gotta fucking figure it out. Everything is always in play. Everything is always in play. Let's just say that when spicing things up gone wrong in that scenario, it happens. And sometimes, and you listen, there's some people whose kink is getting caught. So it wouldn't be wrong. It would actually be the right scenario for them. Again, context is everything. Context is everything. Who are you with? Are you supposed to be with that person? Does that person like it? Do you like it? Context is everything. Context is everything. But that's my review of Sinners, everybody. I appreciate you joining me. It's funny. You would probably think that I would probably hate it. No, I don't just hate shit just to hate shit. I hate bad shit. And a lot of what we get, by and large, from entertainment is crap. It's slop. It's content for the sake of content. This wasn't content for the sake of content. It was a good flick. It was a good movie. It was a well-made, well-acted, well-written movie. It was a general movie, but it was a well-made general movie. It was a well-made vampire flick. Surprise. Surprise, surprise. He likes it. Yeah, because it wasn't shit. Because it wasn't crap. Give me something that's good. Give me something that's not garbage, and I'll like it. Funny that. It would be funny if she seduces you into those situations, LOL, without the caught part. Who says that hasn't happened to me? You don't know me. Anyway, if you want to keep following me, the main thing, like I talked about, that I'm doing right now is the Podecito podcast. You can find that. It's the Podecito, Podecito, and we go episode by episode through all the episodes of Las Vegas, the NBC show, which you can find streaming on Peacock and Amazon, and it's not on Netflix. What's the other one? Roku, DVDs, etc. That takes up a ton of my time, but I like it. It's worth it. I just dropped a new episode now. We're on Rumble. We're on YouTube, although the YouTube channel isn't all the way up and running. I had to, the whole thing with the YouTube channel. Find me on Rumble for that one, the Podecito, or Linktree. Linktree is the Podecito. Go to Linktree, find the Podecito, find your favorite way to listen to that. And until then, in the meantime, how did I end these? What did I used to do to end these? Oh, yeah. This time I actually did legitimately forget. Cheers.